Our next speaker is from Central and South Jersey, Kendall Baldwin.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited and grateful to be here, and I want to thank everyone who made this weekend possible because I've had such a great time and such an inspiring time hearing from my fellow prize winners. So I just wanted to tell you guys a bit about how I got to where I am and sort of what I'm looking at for the future. So my father is African American and my mother is Irish, German, Scottish, French, and British. So because of my genetic background, I've been exposed to a lot of interracial interactions that a lot of my peers have not. For example, the first 3 faces that I got to know were all different colors. I saw my father, who was dark-skinned, my mother, who was light-skinned, and my sister, who was tan like I am. So for the past 16 years, I've really gotten to observe race relations in a fairly unique way. So like what's seen around the world right now, in my own life, I've seen extremely positive relations between races, as well as extremely negative, and many places in between, as you already heard from my fellow prize winners. One story that I always like to tell from the middle spectrum of that is from when I was in elementary school. My sister and I went to the same school, and we have the same mother and the same father, yet for some reason, they had us in the records as being 2 different races. One of us was white and one of us was black. So looking back on that, I wonder, how did they choose which was white, which was black? Does it matter how they chose it? Why did they decide that it was up to them to choose which race I was, which race my sister was? So fast forward a few years, my sister became president of the national organization called Teen Project Race, which is the youth arm of Project Race, where RACE is an acronym that stands for Reclassify All Children Equally. And the goal is to have a multiracial classification on all forms that require you to mark your race. So I served as a panelist up until July of last summer when I became president of the organization. And I did so with the intention of focusing on the medical aspect of multiracial affairs, I guess. As Professor Perry was saying, a lot of people do look at race as a social construct, but I feel like in the medical aspect of it, there are undeniable health disparities in terms of race. So after I became president, in August, I learned about an 11-year-old girl named Shannon Tavares. She was on Broadway in Lion King, and she had leukemia. I don't know if any of you guys have heard her story, but she was multiracial, and she passed away after receiving a cord blood transplant. It was very difficult for her to find a donor that matched her, and she ended up losing the battle with leukemia. And in the 2010 census, the results have just come out recently, and it does show that multiracial people are the fastest growing segment of our population. So there are so many people like Shannon that are in need of cord blood transplants and bone marrow transplants that the research for multiracial people, it just isn't there. It really doesn't exist very much because people tend to see multiracials as invisible. So that's why the work is important to me, and something that I want to do as a result of that is have a multi-city bone marrow drive with a minority focus to increase the number of minority donors in the national registry for bone marrow, again because of the lack of research. And we're in a world that is changing so much, and the work that everyone here is doing is addressing that. If there wasn't these changes, then this work wouldn't be as relevant as it really is. But it's really so important. And hearing what everyone's done, being here, sharing our ideas, our thoughts, and our successful work is just really helping us look to the future and be able to continue that work. Thank you.